3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Hi, I'm Ted Polzer, Director of Product and Customer Support for Case Construction North America. Here again with another Case Live event. We're going to be switching things up though. This time we're going to be talking a little bit about the Case used equipment programs that we offer and some of the opportunities that our dealers are taking with these new programs. We're going to talk about how this fits into your fleet strategy. We're going to talk about the advantages of buying and selling used equipment from your Case local dealer. And we'll talk about financing and about the tax incentives that you should think of here at the end of the year. We're here with our friends at Miller-Bradford and Risberg, and here in just a little bit, we'll talk to Dean Shaw about how Miller-Brad approaches used equipment with its clients, as well as take a look at the process of a used machine that it goes through when it comes into meeting the Case certified used standards. As always, throughout the morning here, drop your questions into the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen, and we'll take some live Q&A here at the end. Before we get into the interview with Dean, I'm going to run down the key advantages that used equipment can provide to your fleet. And you might be asking yourself, why is a manufacturer of construction equipment talking about used equipment? And it's simple. We understand, along with our dealer network, the important role that used equipment plays in fleet management. And that's what we'll talk about here today. So let's run down a few of the things to consider as it relates to used equipment for your fleet. And specifically, when you buy used equipment from a local dealer with a dedicated used equipment program like the folks here at Miller-Bradford. The first advantage is that you've got a machine that has been inspected, worked on, and backed by your local dealer. This isn't a private sale. You know you're dealing with an established business, and that business is built entirely around providing and maintaining equipment like yours. And when something goes wrong with that machine, or you have follow-up questions after the sale, you know that you can go to the dealer and have those issues dealt with. And typically, both dealers and the original manufacturer of the equipment may be able to offer you additional protection, planned maintenance programs, or other long-term service subscriptions that let you know you have someone that stands behind that machine and is here to help you when you need it. Another advantage is financing. While there are a number of ways to finance used equipment, working with a dealer often gives you a broader range of options. For instance, when you buy a piece of used equipment through a Case dealer, C&H Industrial Capital is available to provide you with a wealth of financing options as well as other programs to help you manage owning and operating costs throughout the life of that asset. We'll talk about that more here in a few minutes. So, lower initial purchase cost is another advantage. When compared to a used piece of equipment may be easier to get into, especially if you're just starting your business or if you need a machine as a complement to your existing fleet. As long as you remember that you'll also get less for it when you're ready to turn it back on to the used market. Unlike new, used equipment doesn't experience the significant depreciation that occurs from the moment that you put it into service. Just like a new pickup truck, a new piece of equipment depreciates in value from the moment that it hits the dirt. A used machine has already experienced that depreciation. As such, you're also going to have greater relative retained value for that machine over the course of its life with you. Now, what does that mean? You'll get back a greater percentage of your initial investment with a used machine versus a new machine. Similarly, used equipment costs less to insure than new equipment. That's a simple equation of a lower value asset requiring less money to insure. And availability is a major consideration right now. We've all talked extensively about supply chain issues affecting the arrival of new equipment at dealers. Used equipment provides, the great advantage of being available now. And if it's listed, it's for sale. You can pick it up and put it into service almost immediately. And it gives you that flexibility to move equipment in and out of your fleet in a pretty turnkey fashion without worrying as much about depreciation and etc. And likewise, with the strength of the used market, now is a great time to be selling used equipment too. You have the confidence that you'll get a great return on your investment in today's market. And it's worth noting that trading in or selling used equipment to your local Case dealer will give you a significant return on investment and value towards the next machine that you need to add to your fleet. It's important for all business owners and fleet managers to know that this is not an all or nothing proposition. We obviously love it when you buy new equipment, but we also recognize the important role that used equipment plays in fleet strategy. Working with your partners at Case dealers like Miller-Bradford here gives you access to the wealth of support and technology options available, as well as proven support. I want to take a moment to dig back into the financing discussion and the advantage that you have in financing through C&H Industrial Capital when working with your local Case dealer. C&HI Capital offers many competitive and creative financing options to best meet your needs for both new and used equipment purchases. From flexible payment schedules that best match the seasonality of your cash flow to competitive used equipment standard low financing rates, low rate programming, and used equipment leasing options as well. C&HI Capital is an excellent resource here. You can also extend your peace of mind with extended warranty options that cover just the powertrain or just the engine and transmission, all the way up to a full warranty coverage depending on eligibility of the machine. And you can take advantage of C&HI Capital's Productivity Plus commercial revolving account that allows competitive and flexible terms to finance any of the equipment, repairs, or parts purchases from your local Case dealer. Bill's going to share some links and contact information for you here in just a minute or two. And finally here, let's talk about Section 179. It's the end of the year. You should be thinking about taxable income of your business and possibly how to reduce that taxable income for the year. And investing in equipment delivered and put into service before December 31st is one way to do that. And used equipment is eligible for that consideration. Section 179 allows you to deduct 100% of the investment in new and used equipment up to $1,050,000 rather than depreciating that cost over time. That's great for small to mid-sized businesses, but worth noting that deduction is decreased dollar for dollar if you buy more than $2,620,000 in the calendar year. Also worth noting that bonus depreciation of 100% is available in 2021 when you exceed that Section 179 spending cap. This ultimately means that used equipment is a great way not only to improve your fleet for next year, but buying it now can put you in a favorable position come tax season. As always, talk to your tax professional or your accountants about best practices. But between the combination of used equipment availability, a positive outlook for 2022, and these tax incentives, now could be the optimal time for you to invest in new, used equipment here in the last few weeks before the new year. And with that, we're going to transition over to an interview with Dean Shaw, the used equipment manager for Miller-Bradford and Rysburg, and talk to him a little bit about what his visions and views are on the North American used market. So here today with Dean Shaw, and also at Miller-Bradford Rysburg in Sussex, Wisconsin. And today we're here to talk about used equipment, and I'd really like to thank you, Dean, for hosting this here at your guys' dealership. And we're going to be talking to you a little bit about kind of what your guys' experiences have been with the used programs that we have out there, what works, maybe what doesn't work for you guys. And we'll kind of dive into the questions. So, you know, first off, kind of want to know, how does MBR work with your customers on used equipment?
Well, I'd like to say, first of all, welcome to Miller-Bradford. We embrace used equipment, and you certainly have to be in the used equipment business today, particularly with the long lead times associated with new. It's a big part of our business. The demand is just off the charts this year. It's continuing to grow. I think last year the used equipment business in the country was something like $90 billion. So if you're not playing in the used equipment game today, you're missing the boat.
Okay, good. And maybe give us an overview of the inspection process that you guys follow to kind of qualify some of the machines that you guys purchase and sell.
Well, we use the service department for all of our inspections. You know, typically your salesmen are great salesmen, but they're not good mechanics. And so I want people to inspect the machine that are the ones that work on it, repair it. They're the most knowledgeable. And so in order to give the customer the best value it's important that you get a good inspection, and our technicians are able to do that for me.
Yeah, that's good. And I think your technicians, right, they're working on whether that's new, used, anything. So, you know, they've probably had a lot more experience than just a few used machines over the years. So
Absolutely.
they know what to look for. Good. So you guys are also one of our case certified used dealers. And maybe walk us through, you know, like what are some of the advantages that you guys see and your customers are seeing with that program today?
Well, I think the first thing is the equipment goes through a fairly rigorous inspection with fluid samples, so the customer can be assured that the machine that he's getting is something that's going to provide him with good uptime. And once certified, it comes with the case certified warranty, which on skid steers is for 1 year or 1,000 hours for the electrical and powertrain. That's big. That's a no deductible warranty. That's offered through the case organization. So that warranty can be fulfilled by any case dealer throughout the country. So if a customer is purchasing something and he intends to maybe go to another area to use the piece of equipment, he's got support and warranty coverage through that local case dealer where the machine may be working. So that's really big for these guys. The other thing, the advantage is there is low rate financing. Right now it's 2.9 for 48 months. So you get a great warranty, and you get great financing, and you get a machine that's gone through that inspection process. So it's a win-win-win all the way around.
All right, so you have that kind of peace of mind of a new machine purchase, just different terms on the warranty, but yeah, you've got that. That's great to hear, you know, the detailed inspections that you guys do. What are some of maybe the other views that you personally have on other advantages that this might open up as well?
Well, I think that for a customer, let's say that doesn't use case equipment currently, maybe he wants to expand in the work that he may need doesn't currently own a skid steer or one of the other products, and so he has a chance to acquire that piece of equipment. He's got the peace of mind of the warranty. It's less expensive. The return on the investment is much better than it would be on a new piece. So you could actually be able to do business with people maybe that you're not doing business with currently.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yep. So Dean, you know, obviously you guys attain some used equipment through different trade-ins and things like that, but you know, for you and Miller-Bradford, do you guys purchase customer machines by chance and then go through that process as well, or? We're
always looking to purchase good used equipment, whether it be directly from lease returns that come back through C&H Capital, whether it be at auctions, whether it be from competitive dealers, or even from customers themselves that maybe have excess fleet that they want to get rid of. If that machine is eligible for certified used, believe me, that moves right to the top of the list. I think there's more advantages to buying for the customer to purchase a piece of used equipment from a dealer because of everything that goes into qualifying a used piece of equipment and the financing that's available for it. From our standpoint, you know, a customer that wants to sell that piece of equipment to, particularly if it is a certified eligible unit, he's going to get more money from me than he probably will from somebody else, simply because I can offer that certified used program where a competitive dealer or someone else, if it's a private sale, can't do.
So for your large fleet customers, maybe big owner and operator type companies as well, you know, when you take a look at that, is there any advantages for them to be able to look at either certified used or new?
Thank you for that question. Yes, there is. You know, one of the advantages for fleet customers is that maybe you want to expand and do work that you currently don't own a piece of equipment for. And so it's maybe cost prohibitive to go purchase a new one because you're not sure if that work is going to continue to be there. So you can make the investment in a piece of used equipment. Then at the end of that project, you can sell that piece of used equipment and the return back to you is much greater than it would be in some cases than renting, where you're just throwing the money away. So that's a real big advantage, I think, to buying used for a fleet customer. To do that.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point because there's a lot of jobs, right, where You know, it requires a new piece of equipment, maybe to me if I was purchasing one, but I don't know how many hours I'm actually going to put on it. Everybody always has those intentions of putting 10,000 hours a year on something, but.
Well, I think generally speaking, you know, I've heard that if the utilization is 70% or higher, then it maybe makes sense to purchase a new piece of equipment, as long as the work that you're going to be doing is at that level. But some of the work isn't. And when it isn't, and you want to expand your fleet, then go get a piece of used equipment. It's just a much better return by doing so.
Okay. So Dean, I mean, obviously we're standing right in the middle of Wisconsin here. You know, what are some of the advantages that customers that are out there, you know, get by coming to you at Miller-Bradford and discussing opportunities with certified used?
Well, I think the first thing is the company's reputation and the way we handle the used equipment program and the selection of equipment that we have available. And know that there's such a variety that we have, that the equipment, the financing that we're able to offer for our used equipment, and the overall experience.
So Dean, obviously it's really important in our business to have support, right? I think everybody that owns a piece of construction equipment out there realizes that their success depends on the support that they get from their dealerships. What are some of the support, you know, type tips or tools that you guys do differently here at MBR that sets you guys apart from everyone else?
I think, you know, one of the things that customers need to know is that when they buy a piece of used equipment from Miller-Brad, it doesn't stop when they walk out the door. We had an instance where we were in the process of certifying a piece of used equipment, and the coolant sample came back after the customer had already left with it. In this case, he was heading to Tennessee, and the sample came back and indicated that the fluid needed to be changed. So we contacted the local dealer, we contacted the customer, and we made arrangements for the local dealer to go out and change the coolant in that machine so that that warranty stayed in effect that was offered by Miller-Bradford. So, you know, some people, they think when they buy a piece of used equipment, they drive off the lot and that's the end of it. Not with us. We're going to continue to support that piece of equipment with trained service techs, with parts availability, and follow-up, because we want that customer for life.
Right. Yeah, and I've actually, you know, had the opportunity to work with you on scenarios like that, and I think it's really impressive. You know, the customers really enjoy that interaction, and the speed that you guys react is something that they notice right away. I really want to thank you for your time, Dean, as well as Miller-Bradford for allowing us to host an event here and also kind of pick your brain on where you guys have had success.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Case Live on a beautiful December day. It's December in Wisconsin. We're outside. Who can argue with that? This is our last episode of Case Live for the year. Thank you guys so much for joining us here each month and at each special event as we've done a different Case Live. This has been a lot of fun, and we're going to do this again in the new year. We'll be announcing the full slate of Case Lives heading into 2022 in early January, and we hope that you'll be able to join us for each of those events. A special thank you today to our friends here at Miller-Bradford, Dan Soley, Anthony Travis, and of course the gentleman, Mr. Dean Shaw, who's going to join us here for the live Q&A in a moment as well. Thank you for hosting us. It's been a great week here at Miller-Bradford. I'm going to drop right now into the chat box down below, and this is your normal reminder to put in the Q&A box below your questions for our panel. And boy, do we have a great panel set up for us. I'll introduce each of them in just a moment, but the three links that I've dropped into the chat box down below go to the Case Used site, the used inventory site where you can actually search used equipment inventory from around the country. We've also linked to the C&H Industrial Capital site, as well as an explanation of Section 179, which you heard Ted talk about a little bit earlier. So now, enough from me. We're going to get into the Q&A with our team of panelists here. The one and only Garrett Campbell has joined us again.
Thanks for having us, Bill.
Ted Polzer's with us. Ted, this is 2 in a row without your usual sidekick, Brad Stemper. We need to find out where he is, but we're glad you're with us here, Ted. Making his Case Live debut, Mr. Ryan Blasiak with C&H Industrial Capital. And then the gentleman you just heard from, Mr. Dean Shaw with Miller-Bradford, the used equipment manager here. So again, drop your questions into the Q&A box. We'll throw the questions out to the panel here, and we'll jump right in. First question that we got here, are Case dealers only looking to take Case units in trade, or will you take competitive equipment as well?
That's something I can take and kind of start out with. And yes, I mean, the Case dealers that we've discussed with have an appetite for other machines. You know, examples like Bobcat, Cat, and Deere, as an example, are all types of machines that that they're looking for. And with that being said, I mean, let's hear it right from the dealer himself.
Yes, we will take competitive machines in trade, absolutely.
Yep. Okay.
Another question here from the assembled audience at home. How do I go about finding your inventory of used equipment online? And I'll take that one. I get to take one. The links that we just dropped in the Q&A or in the chat window within the Case Live box there, again, there's 2 links. The inventory link will actually take you to a page where you can search used inventory. Another question here, what kind of warranties or protection are available on used equipment?
I could take that, Ted. Yeah. Yep. So part of a certified used piece of equipment comes with 12 months, and this is an extension of the warranty. So if you have an existing base warranty, that would continue to be used. And then after the expiration of that, each piece of certified Case used equipment comes with 12 months of what we call PPP, or protection, and a purchase protection policy. So essentially, it gives you the peace of mind to operate your equipment and still cover those things. And we have a couple different plans, different deductibles, all sorts of stuff. So we can get just powertrain with hydraulics, powertrain with electrical, or we could just do structural. So there's different amounts, different lengths, different terms. So we have all the different options to give you that peace of mind to operate your equipment and really maintain that low cost of ownership.
And that's something that your Case dealers can guide you through. While it might sound like there's a lot there, right? I mean, there's a lot of complexity maybe when it sounds that way, but from a dealer perspective, this is what you guys do all the time, working with your customers, and you're trying to find different types of solutions for each customer.
Absolutely. The one thing is that if a unit is certified used through the Case program, that's a 1 year or 1,000 hour, 0 deductible warranty. So from a customer's perspective, that's peace of mind. Yep. And and to qualify, it has to be 4 years or newer, and it has to be less than 4,000 hours.
And Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, but even if you extend on to warranties as well, you can lump that into the purchase price, right? So that can be financed, and it's not a separate thing outside of that purchase price of the machine, right?
Absolutely, great point, Garrett. So yeah, we can finance that purchase protection policy with the unit as well. And Dean, you mentioned the year of the purchase protection plan as well with the certified used, but we could add to that as well. And I'm sure you get customer requests all the time to add additional terms to cover that machine for a longer period.
Yeah, that's the basic warranty that's available through the certified used, and I said it's actually 3,000 hours, 4 years or 3,000 hours. So you can tag on to that whatever the customer is choosing to have.
Thank you, gentlemen. Great conversation there. And Ryan, I'm going to stick with you for just a moment. Another question has come in here. Does C&H Industrial Capital offer flexible payment schedules, monthly, annual, or possibly skip payments? Kind of giving us an idea of what options are available there.
Absolutely. So thanks for that question. And one of the great things that C&H Capital provides as being a captive lender is really all that flexibility. So we have flexibility as far as skip payments. If I'm a seasonal customer, maybe I only do snow removal. We can target your payment plan so when you're in the cash flow, you can make payments. We also offer used leasing. We also offer retail notes. We have a host of different offers. There is one tied with the Case used as well, a special financing offer. But the nice part about Case or C&H Capital is really just that we're a partner. We offer a host of solutions. And part of that too is just really the tools to allow the dealers and customers to conduct business in a timely manner. So we have a lot of electronic tools such as electronic credit applications and then e-contracts as well. So you can conduct your business with your dealer sometimes without even stepping foot into the dealership. So it's easy, it's very convenient, and it allows you to conduct your work in an efficient manner.
Well, and a lot of times our customers are out working late at night, so they don't have time to get to the dealership when it's open. So when they can get into their email, while they're checking it and get onto that credit application, sign that without having to interrupt their daily business, which actually makes them money, it's a really good thing, and it's the way of the future in any business that is going to, and that's why we're bringing this in as well, is with the ability to sign these contracts online and make sure you don't have to be physically in the dealership.
Oh, that's a great point, Gary. And another thing that we bring to the table too, also in terms of financing options and leases and things like that, is a Productivity Plus. So that's our commercial account, and that allows you as a customer, you can put things like parts purchases, labor work, all on your CNH Productivity Plus credit card, and we give you different terms to pay that off, and we give you some flexibility there as well.
Thank you, guys. Another question here, and this gets into updating equipment as it relates to telematics and precision technology. Can I update older used equipment with telematics and machine control?
Yeah, I can take that one. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it all depends on the vintage of the machine and specifically what you're looking for, but there are a lot of opportunities for us to be able to add telematics to existing machines. And that allows you to take a look at your fleet as a whole. I mean, you can even come to your case dealer and use our off-board type telematics on other types of machines. I mean, if it's something that you wanted to have on a vehicle or, a jumping jack as an example or something along those lines, you could track that through there. The other opportunity here too is that we do make updates to our machines, and sometimes there's opportunities to work with your dealer to say, hey, let's do an upgrade to the existing machine that I have. And I think that there's also options even, I think with that, Ryan, where there's some financing availability then too with that.
Absolutely, Ted. Yeah, and some of the things we will finance is some of these precision components that Ted was mentioning. So if your job site, if your plan needs, that precision and that control, absolutely, CNH Capital is here to help you with that as well.
And I think the other thing is when people think about, precision solutions, they're thinking of the 3D solutions that are all part of the equipment, but there's a lot of other solutions that we offer, whether it's lasers, receivers, things that might just be indicate only that don't have a lot of initial investment, but really do bring a lot of productivity for our customers as well, that are easy to use, easy to maintain, and really can just help move that job site a little bit further faster.
Speaking of ways to make equipment work better for you, a question here, again in the same vein, attachments. Viewer wants to know, can I finance attachments, used attachments for their equipment?
Yeah, that's a great question. So absolutely, when you purchase a unit, new or used, we can lump that attachment up into the purchase price and finance that as well. So if you need a bucket, and a fork, we can certainly add those to the order as well and finance that.
Excellent. A question here. We've got always good participation from members of our construction equipment media, and we love having you folks participate as well. Question here has come in. How are you able to certify the reliability and the good condition of the used equipment you are selling through the inventory?
Yeah, I can start with this one. So a couple of things. We start out with an extensive, checklist, right? So we use a 100-point inspection, and it's really 100+ points. It depends on the type of the machine. And this isn't something where we said, hey, we're gonna find 100 things to look at. We knew looking through the machine what all the areas are that we have to pay attention to, and including oil samples and everything else as well. And that's what actually built out how many points that we inspect. So we knew the critical areas. We do inspections looking for hose leaks. We do we take a look at like if there's any improvement programs available for that machine. So really, when you receive one of these units, it's something that's had this inspection, it's been touched up possibly, you know, if it's a paint thing, you know, tires are even looked at to make sure that they're, you know, usable condition. In addition to then we also use oil samples in the key areas of that machine so that we can understand what that internal condition is as well. And I think, you know, Dean, you guys do a lot of work on the inspections, and that's a big part of your process here.
It's a huge part of our process that we do. It's very important to gauging the condition of the equipment, making the necessary repairs so that when it's sold, there's assurance for the customer that he's got a machine that can go right to work.
Right. And Dean, I've been pretty amazed since I've been here, you know, just walking around the lot, some of the certified used that you have. I mean, you guys even get down to the level of painting the buckets again and really touching it up.
A certified used unit, it's special. And so you have to make it special. And that involves more than doing, you know, some of the mechanical work. It's got to have the appearance of a certified used. If you go into a car dealership and you're looking for a certified used unit, it stands out amongst all the other used equipment. And so we want our certified used to stand out amongst the rest of the equipment as well.
Well, and I think the other aspect of it is just because you're buying used equipment, it's still stuff that the customer wants to be proud of. You know, it's still an investment. Yep. And just making sure that it's cleaned up, it's working properly, and that they're going to be able to get that return on investment. Even though it's used, you know, it's still a solid machine that's going to work for them. I think that's really important when we talk about certified use.
Another question here. We're getting towards the end of the year. Ted talked a little bit about Section 179. Question from the audience. For Section 179, do I need to take delivery by December 31st, or is a purchase order enough?
Go ahead.
I can take that one. Yeah, so we can secure that with a purchase order. So we can, you know, get you that. And then the nice part about you know, the used equipment is if we take a look at the environment out there, you know, there is some used equipment, certified used equipment out there that we can sell today, and you can capitalize on those benefits of buying that equipment today before the end of the year.
Yeah, and I think the other advantage too is that when you're talking about used equipment, certified used, any of those points, the critical thing is that these are units that a dealer has in stock, right? You're there, you see that machine, it's something that, you know, we already kind of touched base on this earlier, that you're going to take home that day. And so that helps as well with that process.
Thank you, folks. If I buy from a private seller or an auction, am I eligible for the same benefits? And I think they're talking about the same benefits you've been talking about here today.
Yeah, I can take that one as well. I mean, a consideration here is that certified used is something that our dealers, you know, they have in that they've attained, right? And for us, you know, we have certain stipulations on the hours that we want, but the services that our dealers perform, like this 100-point plus inspection, the oil samples, these are all solutions that our dealers can work with you on today on any piece of machinery really that you have. So it's important to know that you know, whether that be maybe a competitive piece or it is a case piece, bring that in. Have the dealer take a look at it. They're going to let you know what some of those key areas are. They're going to be able to, again, understand, are there any updates that are outstanding on that unit that need to be made? Things like that, so that you're getting a tip-top machine that you've already owned.
And I think it's important to note, Ted, too, you don't get all those benefits that I mentioned with C&H Capital if you go outside of a case construction dealership. Right.
You also have the peace of mind in knowing that if, you know, you have used case equipment, you're getting it serviced by a certified case technician, right? So that's important because they know what that machine is. They know all of the different things that, you know, we've seen, and they know that this may be a spot that we need to look at. They can take care of that and make sure that that machine's going out like it was coming off the line.
Yeah, exactly. And this, you know, our technicians that are in our dealerships, I mean, they go through extensive training. In addition to, they're working on these machines every day. So they know what to look for. They've had that experience, and that experience really pays off because they know, you know, what other customers may have seen, and they know how to avoid that.
Couple of questions here between the Q&A and the chat box, and so I'm gonna paraphrase a little bit here, but everyone has talked about supply chain. Obviously that's affecting every piece of the construction equipment ecosystem. How has the issues with the supply chain and the availability of new equipment affected inventories, pricing, and other factors of used equipment?
Well, I can tell you from our standpoint, it is really, the demand for used is way up, not only for our dealership, but other dealerships that I talk to. You know, the needs of the customer is still there. They're still looking to buy equipment, and with the unavailability of new, the used is the best option.
Thank you, Dean. Question here as it relates to, and we've got a few more minutes here to take questions, folks. Again, feel free to drop your questions down in that Q&A box in the bottom. We'll take a few more questions here, and anything that we don't get to during the broadcast today, we will email you about after the show. Simple question here. Ryan, tell the folks, how do I get a Productivity Plus account?
Yeah, great question. The easiest way to get a Productivity Plus account is if you're a current Case Construction customer, next time you're in your dealership, just ask the parts counter, ask any of the individual salesmen at the dealership. They can lead you to how to sign up. They can get you the application. Otherwise, you can go to cnhcapital.com or just Google Productivity Plus CNH card, and it'll take you right there, and you can actually fill out an application on the website.
For our customers, not having to step into the dealership, but still do business with the dealership.
Exactly.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Garrett. Again, a couple of questions here that I'm going to paraphrase into one. Dean mentioned fluid sampling earlier, and then another question has come in here. Are these services only offered on used equipment, or can I bring my own case machines and have these same inspections and treatments done? Or is that only for used equipment that you're selling?
We do that. We do, if a customer wanted to bring a machine in and have us do the inspection, similar to what we would do for a certified use or for any inspection, even though the units that we are potential trades for us, we go through a fairly rigorous used equipment process here at Miller-Bradford, and that involves fluid sampling as well. So, but if a customer has a machine and he would like to have us do those things, we do it all the time.
Yeah, and it's a good point too, because fluid sampling is a good habit and process to get into. Because, you know, if you're taking samples, you know, periodically throughout the ownership time that you have that unit, you're going to be able to understand, you know, what's normal very clearly, and also then what's abnormal very quickly. And that really helps your dealers understand, hey, we need to take your unit, you know, we need to take a look at something. And it's real scientific data that helps us understand exactly what's going on with that machine.
I suspect the answer to this one may vary dealer to dealer, but a question has come in. Can I demo certified used equipment? Or used equipment?
Can you demo certified used equipment is the question?
Yep.
The answer is absolutely. A matter of fact, you can demo any piece of equipment that we have available for sale. You know, this equipment costs a lot of money. So as a customer that wants to try it, certainly that's available.
Thank you very much. And with that, folks, we will wrap up this episode of Case Live. Again, thank you so much. This has been this whole year, every month has been a new thing for Case. We've had a lot of fun interacting with you folks, talking with you folks, and we look forward to doing it again in 2022. Happy holidays from everyone at Case, and we will see you in January. Have a great month, everybody. Talk soon.